Hey, everybody, it's me, Queenie. I'm sorry I'm late, but it's been an interesting day with these two little ladies not wanting to go down. But I'm excited to be here. Thank you all so much for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about 7 days and 7 ways to rise into your queen. And I'm excited about this challenge. Before we get started, oh gosh, I just had to run upstairs and back down. Let me have a sip. Whew. It's been so interesting, just moving through all of this, this new phase for me. It's requiring me to rise too, so I'm excited about it, and I'm growing and loving it all the while. So today I wanted to talk about the day one, okay? Who am I? First of all, I'm Queenie Brown, and before we get started, I will let you know that if my husband calls me, I apologize right now in advance that I'm going to have to shut the live off because my dad-in-law is at the end of his life, and they turned the machines off today, and so it's just kind of touch and go as it stands. And so if he calls me, I'm shutting it down, y'all. Just let you know. But until he does, let's continue. So we're talking about 7 days and 7 ways to rise into your queen. And I'm Queenie Brown. I'm an author, a healer, a transformational coach, and I stand for the healing and ascension of women worldwide. I believe that we as women we are some amazing, powerful creatures. And unfortunately, because of a lot of reasons, we have been disconnected from our power. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to start a conversation with you about the queen that lives on the inside of you. And so my premise, let me just move these comments off so I can see. All right. My premise is that each of us has a little girl that lives on the inside of us. And we all know this. The little girl in us is the one who tends to want us to want to allow us to just be lax with our life and just have fun and be playful. And while that's all great, it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for us to really up level and reach the goals that we've set in our lives. And on the other hand, we have these big girl dreams, and we have these ideals of a life that we want to create for ourselves. And I believe that those dreams live and breathe inside the queen that lives on the inside of us. And there's this battle between the queen and the princess, that little girl and the woman that lives in you, that if we don't understand that this is going on, we kind of find ourselves sabotaging ourselves and going round and round trying to figure out why we aren't reaching our goals, why we aren't really moving forward at the pace that we want to move in life. And we just kind of stumble over ourselves when we don't necessarily have to. So I wanted to start this conversation off on day one and talk about the fact that a queen is serious about her empire. So what is an empire? What are we talking about? Some of us consider our empires being our home. Some of them consider it being our family. Others consider it being the family, not the family, your business. And others consider it being your entire legacy. So what I want you to start to think about is what do you consider your empire? What does that mean to you? What does that word mean to you? For me, I believe that my empire includes all of those and more. It includes the vision that I have for my life. It includes the businesses. It includes the books and the lives that I'm destined to impact. It includes the mark that I'm to make on the world. My empire is the claim that I'm staking in this life. We only have one life. And it's interesting. Last week we lost Terry, who was a dear friend. She was actually the first member of this group, SuperNatural Womanhood. And she passed away last week. And then this week, I'm losing my father-in-law. And it just really puts things into perspective when you really think about it. We have one life. We have one body. We have one opportunity, really, one shot. And so how do you want to shoot your shot? What do you want to do with this life? We've lived up to now. We've gotten the wounds, we've gotten the wisdom, we've taken the bruises with the hits and also the wins. And with all that we've learned, what do we want to do to create the rest of our lives? How do we want that to look? And what we have to realize is, as the queen of your life, you get to decide. You get to literally be the creatrix and create whatever it is you want from this life. One of the things that I wanted to really to talk about is that we, goodness, I didn't tell you anything about me. I just thought about it. Let me just back up then. I have spent the better part of the last 25 years in a deep graduate level study of psychology, theology, personal development, business, biology. What else? I've just really been on a quest because my body literally fell apart or was falling apart in the early 2000s. Back in 2000, I was on disability. I had all kinds of symptoms in my body. Everything was it was literally falling apart. My neck and shoulders were so tight. My shoulders were all the way up to here. I couldn't turn my head to the left or the right to drive. My neck was so tight, it pulled my spine out of alignment. Excuse me. Pardon me. And it caused 5 discs to rupture in my back. I was in and out of therapies for years, taking all different kinds of medications. At one point, I was taking, I think, 7 different types of medication, in addition to 120 pain pills a month they were prescribing for me. And at the time, I couldn't even keep up with the prescription. It was so many. And it was just by the grace of God I didn't get addicted to them. I'm really grateful that, I see so many people struggling with the very medicines that they were just kind of giving me by the wheelbarrow in the early 2000s. So I'm really grateful for that. I don't even know how I didn't get addicted, but I'm grateful. Hey there, I see somebody watching. Welcome, welcome. So through that experience of having to deal with so much pain for so long, I ended up went through depression and anxiety, and I had panic attacks, and it was just awful. Insomnia, there was just, symptoms were just constant. And ultimately my doctors, they didn't know what to tell me. They couldn't tell me that there was anything wrong. They couldn't pinpoint anything, but what they could tell me was that I would never be a mom. And so I just decided that I had to dig in and learn as much as I could about my body and what was going on. And so it led me down all these paths, and it led me deeper into an understanding of my faith. It led me into an understanding about my body. It helped me to understand my mind and that's my mind's impact on my ability to heal. And so altogether, that including a boatload of spiritual experiences that if they hadn't happened to me, I probably wouldn't even believe them, just being totally honest. And over the course of this experience, I'm going to share quite a few of those with you, so you'll know where all this was born. But I ultimately went down the path of writing a book, and I published my book. Actually, I have it right here. I published my book, The Self-Love Lessons, 7 Lessons Every Woman Must Learn About Herself and the Power of Womanhood. I published that back in 2011, before I had my first baby. And I ended up having 2 babies, and they're both my miracles. And boy, they have been giving me a run for my money these past few days. I'm trying to up level where that's concerned too. But the point that I'm making is that I went down these paths to gain an understanding of my power. I really did want to learn how to access it, how to turn it on, how to turn it up, and how to live from that power. And in taking those steps to learn that, I decided to start sharing it with women, and I have, and it's been amazing. I've had some amazing testimonies, and some lives have been changed, and I've even been able to help women have babies, and it's just been a phenomenal journey. But I've come full circle, and now I'm back in the line of understanding my queenship and understanding the fact that I have the ability to create the rest of this life of mine. And so that's part of the message that I want to share with you today. You really do have the ability and the power to design the rest of your life. And I think it's important that as we think this through, that you really have an understanding of how important it is to design it, how important it is to create what it is that you want out of life. Because if you don't create it, it's going to happen one way or another, and it may not turn out the way that you want. What do they say? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Well, I plan to not fail on living out the rest of my life powerfully. And so the way that we talk about rising into your queenship and owning your queendom and building out your empire and becoming serious about it is really having the mindset and having what I'm calling an empire state of mind. You really have to start to think about your life and think about your world and think about your impact from the perspective of having an empire. And so what does an empire bring to you? Well, it brings responsibility, because first of all, you have these subjects, this empire that is subject to your whims, your wishes, your will. So how are you going to direct it? What is it that you want to see manifested in it? You think about your legacy, and most of us don't really ever take the time to think about what is it that we want to be remembered for when we pass away. What is it we want the world to know that we contributed to make happen? Or what claim do we want to stake in this world? We have the ability as women to rise into that, decide what it is we want it to be, and make it happen, and actually create the process or take the steps to make that happen and move in that direction. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm mapping out my own queendom. I'm mapping out my empire. And like I said before, that includes the legacy that I want to create. It includes many books I want to write. And it includes how I want to see myself show up for my girls. I want them to be able to have an example of a woman who is managing her queendom. I want them to see what it looks like to run their own empire, to be able to create money, to be able to build multiple streams of income. That's all a part of having your queendom. And so, I wanted to just open up the conversation for us to talk about that. And also, we talked about responsibility. The first step in owning your queendom is taking responsibility for everything that happens or everything that doesn't happen. And so for me, that looks like showing up when I need to show up. It looks like being true to my word. It looks like keeping the commitments that I make. It looks like setting the goals that I have for myself, and making sure that I reach them. And if I don't, putting things in place to be able to support me so that I can reach them the next time. It looks like setting boundaries in my life and making sure that I honor my boundaries first and foremost. And then I teach other people how to treat me by honoring my boundaries and teaching them how to honor them as well. And that includes us being a parent. Sometimes, even today, boy, whew, these girls, they are trying me. But I'm having to face the idea that I've got to require that they honor my boundaries. They have to honor me. And so the way that you do that is to first honor yourself and give people the example by showing them how you treat you. And in order to do that, you have to have a certain reverence for yourself. You have to have a certain level of esteem that is built up in you. And that's not something that we tend to have as women. We tend to want to give ourselves away, and our value is based in our own minds on how we can serve others, which is great. But our value has absolutely nothing to do with that. Our value is inherent in who we are. It's the fact that we exist. That's what holds our value. And we'll talk more about that in another conversation. But today I just wanted to open the door and just kind of give you some insight into what it looks like to have an empire, to think from an empire state of mind, to recognize how powerful your mind is in your ability to create this empire that you are building, and how important it is to set boundaries so that you can build that empire and allow it to grow in the pace that you want it to grow, in the directions that you want it to grow, and to be able to have the support that you need in order for it to grow healthy, right? So today we are just basically touching the surface, opening the door, talking about your empire. Hey there, I see someone else joined us. Welcome. I'm Queenie. And so I just wanted to open the conversation up. And if there's any questions, let me see. I think I moved my comments off the page. I can't see any comments so far. So I like I said, I just wanted to open the conversation and talk a little bit about what it looks like to build your own empire. And what I want to do going forward is each day we're going to talk about another level of and another way that you can rise and another mindset that you can embrace to step boldly into your queenship. And so as we go forward, I want to make sure that if you're joining me, please make sure you comment. Let me know that you're here. If you have any questions, I want this to be a dialogue. I don't want to just be talking at you. I think it's more fun when we can chat. So yeah. Let me see. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? Taking responsibility for your queendom is paramount. You know, if we own it and we really just stand boldly and recognizing that our world is our oyster and we can literally create what we want, then it's important that we go ahead and make the decision to do that. And so what I have done is I've created this amazing program that I wanted to share more with you guys about it. But it's only for those who are really ready to rise. And so if you're ready to take your queenship to another level and really build out your empire and really start to map out each of those different areas of your life and create those goals that are going to help bring in that cash, to help you change your mindset so that you can start to manifest miracles, that's really what it's all about. As women, we have so much power, like I said before. And I think when I wrote this book, I just barely touched the surface of the power that we have available to us. And I believe the reason we have that power is because of our divinity. It's because we are little gods. We are made in the image and likeness of God. And so before we can talk about power, we have to talk about where our power is coming from. And so as we build out this master plan for your life and for your business, and this plan that's going to help you create this queendom and empire that's going to leave the legacy for you and your family, we have to think about it from the perspective of your identity, your full identity, and who you really are. And so that is key, and it's important because I believe that we are children of the King. And we are King's kids, and like the King, we have divinity. We have the power to manifest, and we have the power to magnetize, and we have the power to do all kinds of amazing things. So anyway, I think that's enough for today. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I'm excited about this challenge. I'm hoping that you are ready to rise with me. If you are ready to rise, I invite you to get on a call with me. Let's have a chat and talk about your queendom. Let's talk about how you're building your empire and how satisfied you are with it today and what you want to see happen in the next 12 months, because we're changing the year, and at the beginning of the year, everything starts anew and fresh, and it's a new opportunity for you to really stake your claim and change the trajectory of your life. And I want to be a part of helping you make that happen. So book a call with me today. There'll be a link in the comments. You can go to risequeen.youcanbook.me and join me on a call. I'll give you 30 minutes of my time, and we can map out your plan. We can come up with, I'll give you a blueprint so that you can fill everything out and see where you end up over the next 12 months. And I'm excited about helping you get there. Okay? All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Queenie Brown, and today is 7 days and 7 ways to rise into your queen. Today we talked about how important an empire is to every queen. I'm sorry, I think I'm a little nervous today. I'm excited. It's nervous excitement, I guess. But we'll talk more tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you invite your friends. Talk to you soon. Bye.